I would like to share with you my favorite A words. I tend to use these words in a conflict situation, when there's a complaint, when there's a problem, in a situation that is not very pleasant. These are the things I say to myself. These are the A words I use. The first important A word always will be the simple two-letter word am, used in the shortest complete sentence, which is I am. This tells me that I am a being, I am alive, and that this does not just apply to me. That other person is also a being and they are also alive. We are all humans. And what this reminds me of is that as human beings, we are all conferred with human rights and human dignity just by being human. Just by saying I am translates into I have human rights. I have human dignity. That is very powerful, and it's important to know that this does not just apply to me. It applies to the other person with which I'm possibly having a problem or a concern with. The other thing that I also like to say is that I'm okay, you're okay. If you just got a short time saying to yourself, I'm okay, you're okay, they're okay, again reminds us that whatever matter we are going to deal with, this is not going to take away from that important statement of I am a human being, I have human rights, I have dignity. So does he, so does she, so do they. It also helps you to check your feelings at that moment. If you're feeling really upset, really angry or mad, you're going to have a moment struggling to say, I'm okay, you're okay. If you feel you've been wronged, you might say, I'm okay, he's not okay. Alternatively, if you feel very insecure, not sure of yourself, uncertain, you might say, I'm not okay. They are okay. They are better than me. So when you see that you struggle to say these words, you might want to say it over and over and over again until you either build your own okayness and you've built their okayness in your mind, such that when you enter the conversation, you have an open mind and you would have wanted to dispense with as much baggage as you possibly can. When you enter any conversation with somebody, starting it with the words, I'm okay, you're okay, is a good place to start. Let's move on to other A words. I like the word attention and acknowledgement because all of us as human beings like some kind of attention and some kind of acknowledgement. In transactional analysis, they speak about human beings wanting strokes being a recognition currency. And because we all want attention and acknowledgement, we would post a picture on Facebook for likes, for example, brag about an achievement, etc., want a medal or a trophy or some kind of thank you for what we are doing. And when we are not in that space where we are getting that positive acknowledgement and recognition, we may also have a tendency to get that acknowledgement, attention, and recognition by performing or behaving in a negative manner, shouting up and down inappropriately, being rude, being aggressive, saying I won't when everybody has to meet a deadline. That is an important thing to note. We all need acknowledgement, appreciation, and attention. And if you go into this meeting saying to yourself, I'm going to find something to acknowledge them by. Good morning. Thank you for coming. I acknowledge that you've taken time out of your day to meet me. I appreciate your ability to sit down with me for us to have this conversation. These are matters that are already going to put us on the right footing in terms of the difficult conversations that may lie ahead. The third important A word is definitely accountability. That problem has come to you for some reason or the other. Whether fair or unfair is not for debate right now. The accountability part is where you make a commitment that I am going to deal with this. I'm not going to shove it under the carpet, nor am I going to put it in file 13. I'm going to address it and give it my best effort. And in so doing, I'm going to move the situation in a positive direction, taking it as far to a resolution as I possibly can. I'd like to move on to the word apology. Now, depending on your circumstances and the difficulties you face, or the problem that comes to you, it might be very difficult for you to agree that an apology is necessary. Most of us do not want to apologize, and certainly in law, when we do apologize, it could be seen as an admission of guilt. However, particularly in a schooling system, when a parent complains to me and they are really distressed and their child is distressed, and I don't even have all the facts on hand, and it could possibly be that fault may lie only with the child or only with the parent or only somewhere that I as yet have no knowledge of, I always go to an apology. And this is what I say. I am really sorry that you had to go through that experience. I am sorry that you have these very negative and distressing feelings. I can assure you that I want to hear you, and I want us to listen to all the facts. And I want us to have a full understanding and to get the full picture of what the problem is. In my experience, this statement, which some may argue is an admission of guilt, has taken most angry parents, most sad, humiliated, distressed parents down from a level 10 of negative feelings to at least a 7, sometimes 6, and sometimes remarkably 2. I always, as far as possible, will use an apology when I have a distressed individual in front of me. It is difficult for me when that complaint is directed at me, as in you said something or you did something, because when I am the target, I don't have the objectivity immediately. However, I remind myself as often as possible that this is the moment for me to reflect feelings. So I would say, you are unhappy at what I said. This is not an acceptance, it's not even an apology, but it's a reflection of the feelings, which also brings the distressing feelings down a notch, which is where we want to be. I could say something like, I see what I said came across in a very negative manner to you. I see that what I did upset you. I want to understand what you feel. So this is very important, and it is definitely taken the situation from high tension to lower. As we begin to communicate and we understand the facts and the problem at hand, we may get to a point where we have to make amends. Now, amends implies some kind of apology, some kind of changed behavior. This is also very difficult for us as human beings to do. I would suggest you always make yourself accountable and a contributor to the solution. Regardless of how innocent or how faultless or blameless you appear, it's also very important to say, let's work together on this. I will also try harder from my side. Perhaps that missed my eye. I will pay more attention to it. Making amends is a very essential part of how we get to resolving the problem. I would say that it is a good goal to always be on amicable terms with all people. If you go to the words, I'm okay, you're okay, and you go to the words, we all have human dignity and we all have human rights, then it's very easy to be on amicable terms with that person. So, how can you continue to be amicable? I would say avoid the following things. The most important thing to avoid is to take everything personally, because that rips out your objectivity in a second. Deal with the facts and the causes and the consequences without taking things personally. The second thing I would say that would be critical to avoid is to watch your I talk versus your you talk. Especially as things get more heated in a conversation, constantly come back to I talk, or rather, I would say, stay in I talk mode. I talk mode works like this. I feel you are being unfair right now. I hear you are upset right now. I would like to know how we move forward. I would like to know what your expectations are. I would like to know how we can get you to a place where you are resolved. I would like to know how we move forward from here to resolve the matter for mutual benefit. If you stick in I and refrain from you are less likely to antagonize the other person. You sounds very targeted and accusational and blaming. I think it's important to get to the A word that says agreement. And agreement is much more easier obtained if we have alignment of purpose. I believe that alignment is a deeper, stronger word than agreement. However, I will settle for agreement even if we don't have alignment. Agreement is simply saying that in this particular matter, I agree to do A, B, C, D, and you agree to do A, B, C, D. We believe in that moment, after much conversation and discussion, that this is what is going to resolve the matter. I would also say that in every matter in a schooling situation, record that agreement, read it out loud, and make sure we both agree with the wording of it, and have it signed there and then. Make a copy and give it to the other person. Alignment would be where we understand that what we agree must be placed within shared purpose, shared values, and shared mission. This is easy if we take a situation of a principal and a parent talking about a child. We both have the shared vision and purpose to care and love and grow this individual well. That alignment might help with conflict resolution. We are definitely not in alignment when a parent just wants to hit a child for a misdemeanor, but the school wants to give the child a demerit. So that is child rearing principles, which is a deep matter to discuss with some families. However, we can agree that for homework not done, the parent will take away the child's cell phone. The teacher at school will give the child some extra attention to help him catch up. That is an agreement, whereas the alignment of how children should be disciplined would perhaps still not be there. Acceptance. When everything's said and done, we have to accept that these disagreements, conflict situations, complaints, and problems are not interruptions to our job, but that they are, in fact, our job. Dealing with them are opportunities to foster stronger relationships and bonds with all parties. It leads to greater common understanding, and it can really build relationships rather than break them down. Acceptance also helps you to understand that you are never going to be able to control all human behavior. Not every discussion or situation will proceed in a predictable fashion and may need more conversations, more energy, and more time. It is very critical then to draw on your assertiveness and to be quite firm about the timeline that you will set for certain things to happen. No matter can drag on forever. Finally, I would say come back to A. In dealing with humans, I'm okay, you're okay, affirms the fact that we all have human rights, we all have human dignity, and we all need to be acknowledged, we all need to be heard, and we all need to be seen, and we all need to be loved. Thank you.